Greetings and welcome to another special episode of Morrowind Mini-Mod Showcases, where we take a look at just one mod at a time. And as always, I'm your host, Dark Elf Guy, and today we're going to be taking a look at a blast from the past, Pocket Pals by Andoreth. This is strictly speaking a sort of companion system for recruiting the wild creatures of Vvardenfell to follow and fight by your side, utilizing a new and unique gameplay setup for harvesting souls and animating special creature figurines. And I'll explain more in a moment, but first you'll find the download links for this mod down in the video description below. And fair warning, there's about 8 or 9 separate downloads for this mod. And you do kind of need to download all of them. For whatever reason, the author released about 7 or 8 individual expansion packs for Pocket Pals, but it never actually combines them together into just one mod. At least not that I can find anyway. But regardless, this is a really cool and unique mod, so let's just go ahead and hop straight to the showcase, shall we? So, first things first, this mod adds a ton of figurines for sale at various merchants across Vvardenfell, Solstein, and also Mournhold, including a few new merchants like this fellow in Cedarneen, who also comes with some new dialogue explaining how to use these figurines. Now, you'll notice these are basically figurines of the various Morrowind wildlife, creatures, and various opponents that you'll face on your adventures, and each merchant has a different set available. You can buy the basic sea life package here in Cedarneen. That includes figurines for mud crabs, swordfish, rats, cliff races, and nets for some reason. And each of these will cost you a pretty septim. So this is a mod you're going to, kind of need to save up for, at least for the most part. And at other merchants, you can buy figurines for Daedra, the Undead, the Sixth House. You can even buy figurines for the Tribunal, assuming you can find the right merchant. And different figurines are sold at different locations, from Caldera to Telmora, Nissus, and beyond, so you can, pretty much have any creatures in the base game or expansions in figurine form. Now, real quick, I did just want to take a short look at these figurines in their more decorative state, because even if you don't imbue them with a soul and turn them into familiars that follow you around, they're fairly decorative and can be used to clutter up your home. They're, for the most part, fairly small, with a few larger exceptions like the Netch and Cliff Racer, but overall, they're a pretty nice size, ideal for, putting on the mantelpiece or on a bookshelf somewhere. Now, essentially, how this mod works is that you can trap the souls of your opponents, just like in vanilla Morrowind, by casting Soul Trap on them and capturing their soul in a soul gem. Only now, instead of using that soul gem for, enchanting, you can use it to imbue life into one of these figurines. And as you might expect, the souls have to match the figurines, so only the soul of a mud crab, for example, can go into the figurine of a mud crab. And when you have a filled soul gem, you can drop a figurine on the ground and imbue it with a soul. And whenever you want, you can activate this figurine to summon a little companion to follow you around. And I do mean little. These companions start out much smaller and weaker than their wild versions. I believe this tiny mud crab companion starts out at only 7 health. And at this early level, you can only keep him summoned for 3 in-game hours before, it'll need to return to its figurine to rest. And these companions can gain levels though. And when they do, they'll, gain in both strength and size, as well as be able to stay summoned for a longer period of time. And according to the author's readme file, each of these little creatures can get up to about level 20 or so. Now, you can summon as many of these Pocket Pals as you want, assuming you have enough summoning points, which is sort of a new skill system added to the game that gains levels as you summon more creatures. You basically start out with a certain number of summoning points, and the more creatures that you summon at once, the more of these points are used up. And when a Pocket Pal is returned to its figurine, or gets knocked out in a fight, you can get these points back, so you can, summon another one if you so desire. And, that's another thing. Pocket Pals are essentially immortal unless you set them as familiars, so if they die in battle, they just return to their figurines. And you can summon them again later once they've had a chance to, recover. And if this all sounds a lot like, Pokemon, that's because it's basically the Morrowind version of Pokemon. Instead of Pikachu, you've got a Cliff Racer, or a Nixhound, or a Scamp, or, so on and so forth. And these Pocket Pals can help out in battle, though having said that, until you level them up a bit, they're really not going to be that effective. They do have a number of commands that you can give them. Besides follow, you can, tell them to wander around a general area, which is great if you're, keeping them as pets, or to stay in one spot, or to rest, which basically just returns them to their figurine again. Now, one of the mod files that you can download adds a naming system to your Pocket Pals, which basically you can purchase name tags from this fellow here, and there's a lot of common names and general pet names available for sale here. And when you've selected a tag, you can activate that tag with a particular Pocket Pal to rename them. So this Cliff Racer, for example, can become Rex or Mittens or Mr. T, which can certainly lead to, some humorous encounters down the road as your Pocket Pal fights off some in-war fools. And anyway, Pocket Pals is a pretty big mod, and I'm going to be skipping over a lot of stuff here because it's a bit on the complicated side, to say the least. But it's definitely a lot of fun to mess around with, and there's a lot of potential for different creatures and companions that you can summon. I mean, you can even capture Vivek's soul and use that to summon your very own little Vivek companion that'll follow you around. Of course, that would mean, killing Vivek first. And this is also compatible with pretty much all other major mods out there, aside from, some slight object clipping with the pseudonym merch install. So you can, probably play this with just about any other Morrowind install that you have, including potentially Morrowind Rebirth. And if you're looking for a fun little, creature companion mod to check out, you might want to give Pocket Pals a try. And that wraps up this episode of Morrowind Mini-Mod Showcases. I'll see you all tomorrow for our next episode of Morrowind Mod of the Month. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.